Ang programa ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na swa sa mga piging gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ang pagkuhan ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, boost to great, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver tonic. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki na produktong gawa sa kanya. Ito ay mabibili sa Dasher, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Pinauganan, Tarlac City. At para sa mga mananayong lugar, pagpipilitin ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginang Malu Reyes Loren. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na. MSB, Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. Magandang umaga po mga kasangga. Nandito na naman po ang inyong Kuya Dong at magbibigay sa inyo ng pagbabalita dito po sa ating nag-iisang programang MSB, Kape at Balita sa Umaga. At ngayon po araw ng Biyernes, September 22, 2023. At mukhang maganda po ang magiging taya ng panahon natin ngayon, no? Lalo-lalo na po dito po sa lalawigan ng Tarlac. At tuwing hapon lang naman po nag-uulan dito, pero the rest of the day, normally po is fair weather naman, kagaya kahapon. Umulan lang po bandang gabi na. At sana po, no, pero mag-iingat pa rin po tayo dahil alam naman po natin na medyo iba na po yung takbo ng panahon ngayon. Walang bigla na lang po umuulan, no? Yung mga scattered rain, showers, and thunderstorms na sinasabi nga naman ng pag-asa, no? Kaya tayo po dapat lagi nag-iingat. Good morning, Brother Ramon Berenguer, no? Ang ating PWD President dito sa Barangay Maligaya. At bago po tayo magpatuloy, good morning din po sa mga TikTok viewers natin, sa mga maagang sumali, mag-join dito sa ating MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Bago po tayo magpatuloy, samahan niyo po muna ako sa isang maikling panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal namin lumikha. Maraming salamat po sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo pa po sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ng kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat po ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa ngalan ng iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Good morning, Mira Salito Dadios. Thanks for joining. And here is a summary of our top stories for today, September 22, 2023, Friday. Volcanic smog detected in Taal, health advisory issued. Agricultural Economic Sabotage Bill certified as urgent. Philippines signs historic UN High Seas Treaty. And for our global update, India visa processor in Canada told to stop services. And for our regional stories, walang pasok, class suspensions for September 22 due to smog from Taal. The areas that will be affected will be announced during the news coverage. OTS screener faces wraps. 110 Parañaque students get cash aid. And finally, in sports, Gilas gets taste of Korea. Starting off with our top story for today. Volcanic smog detected in Taal, health advisory issued. Report by Christine Daguno Bersamina to philstar.com. Manila, Philippines. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, issued a warning on Thursday as it monitored the presence of volcanic smog, or VOG, at Taal Volcano in Batangas, causing concerns about potential health risks and harm to the environment. According to PHIVOLCS' latest advisory, the VOG was observed at 12:30 p.m. on Thursday and has continued to linger. State volcanologists said an upwelling persists at the Taal main crater lake, causing steam plumes to rise as high as 2,400 meters, drifting in the west-northwest direction. Volcanic sulfur dioxide gas emissions from Taal main crater reached a daily total of 4,569 tons, while a large cloud of sulfur dioxide was also spotted west of Taal Lake on Thursday. Fog has been affecting the Taal region since the first week of September 2023 at an average of 3,402 tons per day. Sulfur dioxide has been degassed from Taal volcano for the month, PHIVOLCS said. Fog composed of fine droplets laden with volcanic gases, including sulfur dioxide, can be particularly hazardous to human health. It is known to cause irritation to the eyes, throat, and respiratory tract. PHIVOLCS advise people with conditions like asthma, lung disease, heart disease, the elderly, pregnant women, and children to follow the precautions. First, reduce outdoor time and keep doors and windows closed to keep fog out. Wear an N95 face mask to cover the nose and mouth and drink water to soothe throat irritation. Seek medical help if symptoms are severe. State volcanologists also warned about the potential for acid rain when gas emissions can combine with rain, which can harm crops and corrode metal roofs. Phoebox has kept the volcano at alert level 1, indicating ongoing unrest without an imminent eruption. Local government units in Batangas and nearby areas have responded to the situation by suspending Friday classes as a precautionary measure. The areas that are affected will be announced in this reporting. Moving on to the next top story. Agricultural Economic Sabotage Bill certified as urgent. Report by Alexis Romero to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. President Marcos has certified as urgent a measure that defines and imposes penalties for agricultural economic sabotage as his administration grapples with escalating prices of rice and other farm goods. In a letter sent to Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri on September 20, Marcos certified the need to immediately pass Senate Bill 2432, citing the rising prices of agricultural products caused by hoarding, smuggling, and other illegal activities. The need to facilitate the passage of this important piece of legislation is imperative, especially now that the country is beset by rising prices and shortages in agricultural products, particularly due to the nefarious acts of smuggling, hoarding, profiteering, and cartel, the president said. It will also promote the productivity of the agriculture sector, protect farmers and fisherfolk from unscrupulous traders and importers, and ensure reasonable and affordable prices of agriculture and fishery products for consumers, he added. The certification exempts the measure from the rule that a bill can only be passed on final reading 3 days after its approval on second reading. Masyado silang mahilig sa mga ano ngayon sa mga ganitong klaseng fast tracking. If enacted, Senate Bill 2432 would repeal Republic Act 10845 or the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act of 2016. The Senate vowed to pass the bill on final reading next week, with Zubiri saying on Wednesday that the urgent passage of the bill would make agriculture smuggling an act of economic sabotage a non-bailable offense. May nahuli na ba? Senator J.B. Ejercito, who authored RA 10845 that it seeks to repeal, said the bill would undergo the period of amendments next week and would immediately be passed from second to third reading because of the certification of urgency. The Senate will go on break from September 30 to November 5. As proposed, Senate Bill 2432 slaps severe penalties on smuggling, hoarding, profiteering, and cartel of agriculture and fishery products, including life imprisonment and a fine thrice the value of the agricultural and fishery products subject to the crime of economic sabotage. A government officer or employee found to be an accomplice in the commission of the crime shall also be perpetually disqualified from holding public office, voting, and participating in any public election, and their monetary and financial benefits forfeited. It also provides that when the offender is a judicial or juridical person, the criminal liability shall be attached to all officers who participated in the decision that led to the commission of the prohibited act. Any person found guilty of any crime covered by the measure shall also be penalized with perpetual absolute disqualification to engage in any business involving importation, transportation, storage, and warehousing, and domestic trade of agriculture and fishery goods. Senate Bill 2432 also provides government authorities the right to seize the agricultural and fishery products that are the subject of the prohibited acts and the properties used in the commission of agricultural economic sabotage such as vehicles, vessels, aircraft, storage areas, warehouses, boxes, cases, trunks, and other containers used to store farm and fishery products. To make it work, the bill provides for the creation of the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Council to be led by the President or his designated permanent representative. The Council, which will ensure the proper implementation of the provisions against agricultural economic sabotage, will consist of the Department of Agriculture, Trade, Justice, Finance, Transportation, and the Interior and Local Government, Anti-Money Laundering Council, Philippine Competition Council, and one representative each from the sugar, rice, and corn, livestock and poultry, vegetables and fruits, fisheries and other aquatic products, and tobacco sectors. Senate Bill 2432 is among the expanded Common Legislative Agenda discussed during the Third Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or LEDAC, last Wednesday. It is pending in the period of interpellations in the Senate, while a technical working group is finalizing the version of the House of Representatives. Other economic measures in LEDAC's expanded Common Legislative Agenda are the amendments to the Government Procurement Reform Act, bill imposing excise tax on single-use plastics, amendments to the Cooperative Code, amendments to the Fisheries Code, proposed new Government Auditing Code, bill rationalizing the mining fiscal regime, proposed Philippine Defense Industry Development Act, proposed Philippine Maritime Zones Act, proposed Open Access in Data Transmission Act, and amendments to the Right of Way Act. During plenary debates on Wednesday, senators raised questions on how the bill will crack down on agricultural smugglers whose cartel acts of hoarding and profiteering create an artificial shortage and manipulate food prices. I have read on several occasions for the past weeks several raids being conducted, and it is a crime to hoard so much quantities of rice. It may, in fact, right now, under existing laws, be considered as economic sabotage, said Senator Francis Escudero. Why is it that up to now, I have yet to hear a name that is responsible for the hoarding of rice that the Bureau of Customs has raided? And why is it that not a single case has been fixed against individuals? Escudero added, nga sabi ko kanina, no? The Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act considers as large-scale the smuggling of more than 1 million peso worth of sugar, corn, pork, poultry, garlic, onion, carrots, fish, and cruciferous vegetables, and 10 million pesos worth of rice, both tantamount to non-bailable offense of economic sabotage. With a special team of prosecutors to be created by the Department of Justice in filing charges against smugglers, the bill effectively removes from the Bureau of Customs the sole mandate of filing charges against smugglers, according to the bill sponsors, Senator Cynthia Villar. With additional report from Mark Jason Cayabyab. Sa dinabi-dabi na po ng batas ng Pilipinas, no, wala naman pong nahuhuli. Yun nga lang po, no? Huwag ka nga magbayad ng buwis dito, ng billion-billion, libre-libre ka pa, di ba? Okay, moving on to the next. Philippines signs historic UN High Seas Treaty. Report by PLE Brago to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The Philippines signed on Wednesday the landmark United Nations High Seas Treaty that seeks to deliver stronger protection for oceans under the framework of the 1982 UN Convention of the Law of the Seas, or UNCLOS. Honored to sign today the historic agreement under 1982 UNCLOS on the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction agreement. Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo said in a post on social media platform X, formerly Twitter. The Philippines is proud to take this step to protect the world's oceans for present and future generations, he said. Manalo is in New York to lead the Philippine delegation to the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly High Level Week from September 18 to 26. The UN Oceans Treaty protecting marine biodiversity, commonly known as the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction or BBNJ Treaty on High Seas Treaty, was agreed upon in June following nearly 2 decades of negotiations and is the first ever treaty to protect the world's high seas. As of September 21, nearly 70 countries have signed the UN High Seas Treaty, which also seeks to strengthen the legal regime in the conservation and sustainable use of marine biodiversity in over two-thirds of the world's oceans. The UN's 193 member states, including the Philippines, in June ratified the legally binding Marine Biodiversity Agreement under its own domestic process. The High Seas Treaty comes into force after 60 countries have ratified it. The Philippine mission to the UN in New York said the BBN agreement, which imposes rules aimed at protecting the environment and heading off disputes over natural resources, shipping, and other matters in waters beyond our country's national jurisdiction, was adopted by consensus, with delegates erupting into applause following the adoption. The Philippines participated for 2 decades in the process leading up to the adoption of the agreement. The high seas was defined as the ocean area starting beyond countries' exclusive economic zones, or 200 nautical miles off coastlines, covering nearly half the planet. A key tool in the treaty will be the ability to create protected marine areas in international waters, only around 1% of which are now protected by any sort of conservation measures. The treaty also introduces requirements to carry out environmental impact studies for proposed activities on the high seas. Such activities, while not listed in the text, would include anything from fishing and maritime transport to more controversial pursuits such as deep sea mining or even geoengineering programs aimed at fighting global warming. With additional reports from Agence France Press. Good morning po kay Mira Salido Dadios. Thank you for joining. Moving on to our global top story. India visa processor in Canada says told to stop services. A report from Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. New Delhi, India. India's official visa processor in Canada said Thursday it had been told to stop handling applications before taking down the notice amid a diplomatic row sparked by Ottawa's accusation New Delhi was involved in the killing of a Sikh separatist. Shortly after the announcement was splashed across Indian media, BLS removed the notice from their website. There was also there was no immediate comment from India's foreign ministry.
An official at New Delhi headquarters BLS said they did not want to be quoted and referred AFP to Indian authorities. Important notice from the Indian mission due to operational reasons with effect from 21st of September 2023, Indian visa services have been suspended till further notice, BLS International had posted on their website Thursday. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has demanded India treat with utmost seriousness allegations that Indian agents played a role in June murder of Hardeep Singh Nijjar near Vancouver. The fallout prompted tit-for-tat diplomatic expulsions and a forceful denial from India, which said any suggestion it played a role in Nijjar's killing was absurd. The suspension of visas comes a day after India's foreign ministry said it was concerned for the safety of its citizens in Canada because of politically condoned hate crimes and criminal violence. Threats have particularly targeted Indian diplomats and sections of the Indian community which who opposes the anti-India agenda, a ministry statement said Wednesday. Indian nationals are therefore advised to avoid traveling to regions and potential venues in Canada that have seen such incidents. The advisory did not name specific cities or locations for the Indians to avoid. Nijjar was shot dead by two masked assailants outside the Sikh temple he presided over in Surrey, an outer suburb of Vancouver. An activist for the creation of a Sikh state known as Khalistan, Nijjar was wanted by Indian authorities for alleged terrorism and conspiracy to commit murder. He had denied those charges, according to the World Sikh Organization of Canada, a non-profit organization that says it defends the interests of Canadian Sikhs. The Indian government accuses Ottawa of turning a blind eye to the activities of radical Sikh nationalists who advocate the creation of an independent Sikh state to be carved out of northern India. Moving on to our regional top stories. At ito na po yung announcement para dun sa affected ng bog sa Taal volcano. Walang pasok, class suspensions for September 22 due to smog from Taal. Report from Philstar Live and Philstar.com. Manila, Philippines. Several local government unions announced the suspension of classes for September 22, 2023 due to Taal's persistent emission of volcanic smog, also known as fog. Fog is a hazardous gas capable of causing severe irritation to the eyes, throat, and respiratory system. Taal volcano remains under alert level 1, indicating ongoing unrest without an imminent eruption. Here's a list of cities, municipalities, and provinces that have suspended classes for today, Friday. Ito na po yung mga apektado. National Capital Region, Las Piñas, all levels po, public and private. Muntinlupa City, Parañaque City, Pasay City. For Batangas, Agoncillo, Barigon Elementary School, no face-to-face classes. And this applies to the rest. Mahabang Gulod Elementary School, Bilibingwang Elementary School, Banyaga Elementary School, Banyaga National High School. And for Balayan, all levels, public and private, and this applies to the following. Balete, and for Calaca, no face-to-face classes, shift 2. modular learning. This is for all levels, public and private. For Kalatagan, all levels, public and private, no classes. Lemery, no face-to-face classes, shift to modular learning, all levels, public and private. Then for the following municipalities, Lian, all levels, public and private. Nasugbu, Santa Teresita, Taal, and Tui. And for Cavite, the following will have no classes, all levels, public and private. Alfonso, Amadeo, Bacoor City, Cavite City, City of Carmona, Dasmariñas City, General Emilio Aguinaldo, Bailen, General Mariano Alvarez, General Trias City, Imus City, Indang, Kawit, Magallanes, Maragondon, Mendez, Naik, Noveleta, Rosario, Silang, Tagaytay City, Tansa, Ternate, and Trece Martires City. And for Laguna, San Pedro Laguna will have no classes for all levels, public and private. And on to our next regional top story. OTS screener faces raps. Report by Rudy Santos to the Philippine Star. Kawawa naman tong batang to. Mukhang bata pa lang eh. 300 pesos, ay 300 US dollar. Siya ay bibitayin ng mamamayan. No? O, may masyado tayong okay sa mga maliliit na bagay. Pero doon sa mga malalaking bagay, okay lang. Over missing 300 US dollars. Manila, Philippines. The Department of Transportation yesterday ordered the Office of Transportation Security to file criminal and administrative complaints against OTS screener, who was recorded on video swallowing 300 US dollars in bills allegedly stolen from a departing Chinese passenger at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista expressed dismay over the alleged theft incident at the NAIA, which he has been trying to promote to potential investors who may want to operate the country's main gateway. Bautista directed the OTR Undersecretary for Legal Rainier Yebra to assist in filing the complaints against those found to have connived in stealing from the hand-carried bag of a passenger. Bautista also authorized the imposition of the maximum penalty on those maximum penalty on those who will be found guilty, to show the DOTR's commitment to rid the NAIA as well as the other agencies of scalawags. Ilang naman dyan yung mga scalawag, Jesus ko nagkala. Reports said 3 OTS personnel were being investigated following the incident. The OTS conducted an inspection of all personnel at the airport after the Chinese passenger complained that his $300 was missing. Upon checking closed-circuit television footage, the female OTS screener was seen putting the cash in her mouth and then covering it with a handkerchief, apparently to hide the evidence. According to OTS spokesperson Kim Marquez, the screener was relieved and her access pass confiscated. Marquez said Marquez said around 60 OTS personnel have been dismissed, suspended, or reprimanded from July 1, 2022 to September 20, 2023. 12 cases of erring employees are being reviewed. A TV report yesterday said the woman claimed she merely swallowed a piece of chocolate. Senators slam airport theft naman. Talagang bibigyan niya ng panahon to. Senator pa ang magbibigay ng panahon. Good morning kay Roms Nolasco at kay Arlene Biteng. Gandang umaga sa inyo. Talagang busy-busy mga senador natin. May time sila sa ganitong kaso. Senators yesterday expressed anger over the alleged theft incident involving an OTS employee at the Naya Terminal 1. Senator Grace Poe, who chairs the Senate Public Service Committee, said this is yet another gimmick of corrupt personnel at the airport. Bakit? Bakit yung pinag-iinitan yung maliliit na tao? Yung mga malalaking corrupt, pinalalampas nyo. Ewan. Poe said the OTS screener may have been ordered by her cohorts to swallow the money stolen from a passenger. Oh, naman. She also urged authorities to properly vet applicants to the OTS. Ano mo, kung i-vet mo ng i-vet yan, kung yung tao naghihirap, magnanakaw yan. Ewan ko. How to love the Philippines if we are like this, Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva said, referring to the country's new tourism campaign slogan. Isa pa yan, yung slogan na yun na million-million ang binayaran. Ba't nyo yan ang tutukan? Villanueva said authorities should subject all airport personnel to retraining and identify the screeners cohorts in the airport mafia. Alam nyo ba yung narinig nyo ba yung term na role model? Kung sino yung mga tinitingala, kung sino yung mga nakikita at tinitingala at sinusunod. Baka isipin nyo, meron ba tayong role model ngayon sa ating bansa? Sige nga! Tapos kung ano namang sinasabi niya. How can we convince tourists to love the Philippines if upon landing at the airport, their security will be at risk? Let's give them a happy experience, not a horror story, Villanueva said in Filipino. Senator Joseph Victor Hercito said he would study a bill seeking to increase the compensation for yun dapat, ganun, increase the compensation for OTS personnel so they would not be tempted to steal from passengers. Yun yung tama. With additional report from Mark Jason Kayabyab. Nakakataas ng presyon, Arlene. Kaaga-aga. Mahilig nilang pag-initin yung mga malilit na tao. Yung lolo na nagnakaw ng tinapay. Tuwang-tuwa yung mga netizens na matanda na kulong dahil nagnakaw ng tinapay. Pero yung mga, wag ko mga nagnanakaw ng billion-billion, okay lang sa kanila. Sus, wala na po. Baliktad na yung natin, banto natin. Pinapako natin sa krus yung mga maliliit na mamamayan, maliliit na tao. May sariling isip ng ating ito po, at least good news naman po sa mga taga-Paranaque. Kahit pa paano, may magandang balita naman tayo. 110,000 Paranaque students get cash aid. Report from Nilicen Bautista to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. More than 110,000 students from public schools in Paranaque have received financial assistance from the city government. Elementary and high school students receive their 500 pesos monthly allowance. No? Wow, galing. As part of the 3,000 cash aid they will be getting from the current school year. Paranaque Mayor Eric Olivares led the first day of cash distribution at the San Antonio National High School on Wednesday. Students from 13 public schools in the city have also received financial assistance. The beneficiaries Mukhang napasukan po yung aking cellphone. Nahack yata. The beneficiaries are students of Masville National High School, Marcelo Green National High School, Sun Valley National High School, Moonwalk National High School, Don Bosco National High School, Santo Niño and Santo Niño Junior High School, Parañaque Science High School, San Isidro High School, La Huerta National High School, Don Gallo National High School, Tambo National High School, Parañaque National High School, Baclaran, and Dr. Arcadio Santos National High School. In a Facebook post, Olivares said the Educational Cash Assistance Program is part of the local government's plan to boost the quality of education in the city. City Hall started the distribution of monthly cash allowance for students in March. A total of 600 pesos have been allocated by the local government for the Educational Assistance Program. Ito yung mga magandang ibinabalita. Good morning kay Randy Gunay. Salamat po sa pagsali. Moving on to the next. And here is an update in sports. Gilas gets taste of Korea. Report by Olming Leba to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. After 11 days of familiarizing with one another and team coach Kong system, it's time for Gilas Pilipinas to hit the court for an actual game against international opponent. The Nationals take on import-flavored Korean club Changwon LG Sackers today in a 4 p.m. open tune-up at the Phil Sports Arena. Sayang, malayo to. Sana makapunta ako. That serves as their only test before embarking on their Asian Games campaign. We really don't have much time to play a lot of friendly games. To me, the practices are more important than the friendlies or the practice games because we learn more in the practices than the games, said Kong. Gilas was supposed to face Meralco last Tuesday at the Inspire Sports Academy in Laguna, but the uncertainties of the status of Calvin Abueva, Jason Perkins, Terence Romeo, and Mo Tautua forced the cancellation of that friendly. Against the Sackers, who are reinforced by Americans Dante Cunningham, Reggie Perry, Egyptian Asem Marel, and Pinoy Justin Butang, Gilas could get an early taste of Korean basketball in case it meets Korea in Hangzhou Games. Their Sackers are a very, very strong team, and they'll bring a couple of imports. So there'll be a good test. Cone said recently on one page, The Big Story. It is strategic in the fact that we wanted to play someone from Korea because there's a certain rhythm and style that Korea plays in. And if you're not used to it, it could really be hard to figure out. So we wanted to have that opportunity to play a Korean team. Cone wants Gilas fans to catch them in action live for free. Libre po ito before the Nationals leave for China tomorrow. We hope that we can still fill the stadium up, Cone said, whose team is still awaiting word from Hangzhou organizers whether Abueva and company can go or Chris Ross, Kevin Alas, Arvin Tolentino, and CJ Perez will take their spots in the final 12 instead. And that completes our top stories for today, September 22, 2023, Friday. And here again is a summary of our top stories. Volcanic smog detected in Taal, health advisory issued. Agricultural economic sabotage bill certified as urgent. Philippines signs historic UN high seas treaty. India visa processor in Canada says told to stop services. Walang pasok, class suspension for September 22 due to smog from Taal. OTS screener faces raps. 110 Paranaque students get cash aid. And finally in sports, Gilas gets taste of Korea. Again, good morning po sa lahat ng mga sumali sa akin ng umaga. Unfortunately, itong aking TikTok live medyo nagloko po, no? Hindi ko po alam kung anong nangyari dito. Hindi ko alam kung cellphone or something. Basta nag-wild na lang bigla yung phone ko, kaya I had to stop it. So, pero itong ating FB live, wala naman po naging problema, kaya tuloy-tuloy lang po. So please catch us again tomorrow on our regular program, Magkasangga sa Buhay. At meron po tayong mga guests tomorrow. Take note, guests, hindi lang po isa. And later po, I will be releasing a teaser kung sino po yung mga magiging guests natin bukas. Again, maraming salamat po and have a pleasant morning to everyone. Ingat po and God bless.